So good evening and welcome to a talk on really what is the atonement, if I was to explain this in the highest possible way I can with the least amount of words. What is the atonement? And then the sub question is, why does it seem that we suffer alone, and 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 why are we so disappointed and disillusioned? If I continue with the theme of the dangers of A Course in Miracles, why are we so disillusioned and disappointment a year or two after we've started the course? Why do people give up the course? What is it? How does it fail us? Now, again, my talks are generally PG 21, or I should say PG 45 at least. Um, you know, sex, nudity, language, and violence. So bear in mind that I'm not here to appease your ego or to create a safe space for your little soul. I'm here to destroy, completely and totally destroy, annihilate any concept of self you still have so that you can truly burst open and let the light out. Light's within you, but you want to share it. And that's why we're here. It's why you're still informed, because you haven't fully shared yourself with the rest of yourselves. So ask this question, and I'll get to it. But let me ask you this question. Are you aware that when you suffer alone? I'm sure you've heard me say, when you laugh, the world laughs with you. And when you cry, you wet your face. And some poor git's now got to go and chop down a forest to make tissue papers so that you can wipe your tears. So you're crying and you're whining and crying and crying and whining is causing the deforestation of this world. And then you want to get all green. It's your crying, it's your tears that do that. Stop it. Stop crying. Stop suffering. Stop being a miserable git. Start lighting up. Make it easy. Make it fun. Are you the kind of person that people want to hang out with? Okay, so why do we suffer alone? Have you realized that you suffer alone. And yet when you're happy when you're with others. When did that stop? When did you stop wanting to engage and socialize? And of course, we've all gone through that spiritual thing where you only want to hang out with positive people or spiritually awake people. The minute you say that, you're as asleep as the ones you think are asleep. And the reason we can only truly, and think about it, when you're with really a great bunch of friends that you really love, think of the last occasion when you're really happy. You're happy surrounded by others. Have you ever been really happy on your own? You've been at peace on your own. And have you really been happy on your own? Really? Until the batteries ran out. Yeah. The reason we're happy when we're together is because one indivisible self, interdependency. We're dependent on one another to awaken to self, to realize self, to share the joyous lightness of being. Because your body isn't well. You think about a body. If your liver isn't well, or your leg is sore, or your neck is sore, your whole body's not well. You aren't well. And until the whole body of Christ, what is the body of Christ? One dreaming mind, fractured, fell asleep, fractured. It's got to return to itself, one indivisible Christ mind. It's only going to be truly happy when it's interdependent. All those fractures become interdependent, join up, and become one indivisible, awake Christ mind. And you get glimpses of that when you enjoy his company, being present in whatever you're doing. Whether it's throwing a ball around, kicking a ball around, riding your bicycle, playing a game, singing together, whatever, hanging out with friends, having a barbecue, braai in South Africa. That's when you're truly joyful. Or if you're more of a loner type, plus one. But no one's really alone and happy, or happy and alone. It's together, all one. And I know that we have to reach a place in our journey back to God where we spend a lot of time on our own. And only when we're alone do we realize our all oneness. So be aware that we're perpetually being lied to by so-called teachers, and realize that anyone that is a so-called spiritual teacher and is teaching some sort of curriculum they didn't write themselves So in other words, Course in Miracles teachers, or those that teach the Bible or the Quran or the Vedas, they're teaching something that came from somewhere else. They're desperately trying to understand the material themselves. They're trying to put it to practice. And some learn by listening and applying, and some learn by teaching and applying. Two very different modes of remembering, because all learning is truly just remembering, true learning. So in the big business of spirituality, because it's become big business. Think about all of those and especially they come from some sort of hypnotherapy background, and then are selling the self-help courses, and there's lots of them. They're generally short little men with no hair, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Manifestation, manifest your dreams. You find them in the phone book. What are they selling? They're selling dreams. That's really what they're selling. And yes, through the process, you get glimpses of awakening to self. But it's not perpetual and it's not sustainable, and you won't hang on to it. Why? Because you're learning something that didn't come through yourself. And you only awaken to self through yourself. Everything else you hear, every other teacher, are little signposts that are taking you from outward direction, inward. And eventually, inward means shut the fuck up and listen only to self, voice for God, memory of God. It's okay. It's a nice way to put it. But memory of God, God is no memory. There's no God in the past. So it's not a memory. It's present moment awareness. It's the presence of the awareness, and awareness is God. But spirituality is big business. And so spirituality and self-help, which become really mixed up with one another, sell us on the idea of a future blissful life, where if you reach the goal, that's when it fails. It gives you a goal of enlightenment, such a heavy word. Or as in the Course community, awakening to self. Some Christian circles, the death of self, little self, you have to die to self. The blood of Jesus, and die to self. And it's the same story. So as religion sells you a future heaven, a future happiness, where you walk hand in hand with Jesus, listening to angel music, if you're good, while your friends burn in hell. The spiritualists sell you the same. You're now going to find, and the Course does the same, happy dreamer. Happy dreamer. Happy dreamer is one that's awake to self, and no matter what appears and disappears, it doesn't affect them. It's not the world becomes a happy place. You become lighter. Apparently, you get less lines on your brow. I've seen some very wrinkly Course in Miracles teachers. But a happy dream is the realization of what's true and not true, as in chapter 2, the last judgment, and you learn to sift the good from the bad. Yes, the Course says the good from the bad. What is good? Absolute reality from the bad. Subjective illusions. Okay. So they sell you this idea that in the future, somewhere, you're going to reach this place and you're going to hear this angel music, maybe some violin and concertina in the background. And now it's just going to go bliss. You won't have to eat. And you become translucent. And then all your dreams will come true. And there's the problem. If you're still chasing dreams, you're trapped in the dream, dreaming of dreams. Does that mean you now give up and don't pursue and stop seeking happiness? Of course not. It's built in. You're trying to return. But the seeking will stop and the being will start at some stage. When? You'll figure it out as you get there. There's no formula. And anyone that sells you a formula is selling you utter and total bullshit, because there is no formula. If I look back on my own life, and of course I'm so fucking enlightened, it's scary. Really, I literally walk through walls like men who stare at goats. Really, I'm just amazing. I'm so fucking enlightened. I have to say fuck so that, I could just bring it down to our level, because we're the special ones, of course. If I look back on my process, I could sell it as a package. It won't work for you unless you were dropped on your head as a child and then got shot at in your teenage years, and dated skanky chickie boos and had your heart broken 1,000 times my way, and studied architecture and then marketing and then strategy and then psychology. You have to follow my footsteps to the process that I would share work for you. And that's why it fails. Remember Reiki? Reiki made its big hit out in the 90s and early 2000s. And now, long forgotten. And it seemed to really work in the beginning. Everybody became a Reiki master. They didn't just become a Reiki teacher or a Reiki healer. They were Reiki masters. Yeah, a word not used in South Africa, master. So what happens is spiritual people, they live their lives in this perpetual hope state, perpetually hoping in the future, that somewhere in the future, this is going to happen. The angel music will start. And so what they do is they miss out on the present moment of what is. They completely miss out on what's here, right now, present moment awareness, the infinite lightness of being. It's always one more book away, one more book if I read this one more retreat away, one more talk away, one more. I'm going to get a little bit more. Listen, stop listening to me. You don't have to ever listen to me again. I say the same thing over and over again, sometimes colorful, sometimes looking rather serious. There's fuck all serious about this, dude. Trust me, there's nothing serious. Let's just look serious. Well, I'm pretty serious about pulling the piss out of spiritual bliss bunnies, but that's about it. There's nothing serious here. Not to be taken seriously. I don't know shit. I'm only sharing with you because I don't have any friends that like talking to a computer. That's it. So we're living from one retreat to the next. The next one's going to do it. The next one's going to do it. Hey, and you can go to retreats and hold hands and stand in a circle, be stark naked and sing to the moon and sing kumbaya and play violin, whatever. If it makes you happy, do it because it makes you happy. Ain't you going to get anything out of it? True abidance, true silent stillness and gratitude with nothing left to forgive. That's the transcendence. My way, my understanding of it. So realize they learn this, and like anyone that learns the Bible the first time, or the Quran, or the Vedas, or the Mahavakyas, or the Tao Te Ching, or A Course in Miracles, wow! I want to share it with everybody. I want to go prophesy, share it, sell it, join a community, become a mighty companion, a mighty minion, have the guru, be part of the whole circle of madness, and lay the foundations of lunacy. After a while, you're going to need some happy penis time. That's it. And you're going to fuck it up again. It's what they do. It's what they all do. And so these expectations of the future, it's all going to be bliss. Eventually, after a while, becomes disappointment. It's why the angel lady eventually gave up and became a reborn Christian, because it failed. No amount of talking to angels and no amount of talking to the Guruji, the ascended master, the channel descended disaster, the Zook from Zork, and whoever, Abraham and his aunties, is going to give you the perpetual, because the shit still hits the fan. And now they've sold you on this concept that it's going to be bliss. Jesus is going to talk to you, and then it's just amazing. That's as true. Christianity would have saved the world 2,000 years ago. If Jesus truly was fully awake to self, then the dream should have ended instantly. You see, how many people does it take to awaken from the dream and end the dream? How many? One. How come Jesus didn't do it? Because it's not one individual fracture. It's not one character in the dream. It's one dreamer awakens unto himself, herself, itself. Get it? And so Jesus awoke, and the dream didn't end. Ramana awoke, Krishna awoke, Buddha awoke, so-and-so G awoke, that G awoke, Lu-ji-poo G is awakening on Sunday nights only. Monday, straight back into the dream. Maybe, maybe not. You don't know. Don't make up stories. You have no idea. So that whole false expectation is because they're on a high, they start to sell it. And it sounds amazing. They've got it. They get these glimpses of wow. And most of them have been through some trauma, some drama, some 12-step program, some fucking got dropped on their head and whatever, fell off the horse and had a near-death experience and saw angels, and then now they want to share it. If they were truly happy, they'd be quiet. Okay, Lou, why are you talking? Surely you're truly happy. No, I'm not. I'm still looking for a place to put my happy penis. Did I just say that out loud? I love this. I absolutely love sharing my understanding. And I'm only going to do it in circles where people are interested. My friends are only interested in motorcycles. And my business colleagues are only interested in business. So this is me sharing it with like-minded consciousness, dream characters on a similar path. Like spokes on a bicycle, we're all going to converge on the hub. And so those that are traveling along the lines that I am will find me and we will share this. Remember, I'm not a teacher, I'm a liberator. I'm here to liberate you of the need for teaching and teachers. Go within, be silent, abide, gratitude, offer gratitude. If anything disturbs you and triggers you, practice forgiveness, abide, gratitude. And at some stage, you'll start chopping water, fetching fish, and feeding the kittens. Something. It'll work for you, your way. Maybe you want to chop wood. Maybe you want to, whatever. It's going to be your way. And you'll figure this out with your own time. It has to be your way and your way alone. We've all been taught, and you know this, expectation is the mother of all biblical disasters. Almost said fuck ups. But I can't swear because there may be children listening. We've all been taught the sage neither seeks nor denies. He neither seeks for maximizing pleasure or minimizing pain. He bears witness without judgment. He always acts from a place of love, whether it means to eradicate and annihilate an evil or to share the joyous expression of love. He doesn't take it personally. He could have incarnated as a warrior. He could have incarnated as a priest. Could have incarnated as a nun. Could have incarnated as a businessman. It matters not. He's present. He plays out his role through his natural, talented, passionate nature, whatever that talent may be, playing out through this body-mind character illusion, plays it out. And he's no longer searching. He's not looking for self. He's not looking for God. He's not looking for enlightenment. He's aware of being aware. That's it. That's what enlightenment really means, or awakening to self really means. You're aware of the awareness you are. You've now gone from meditation and being present to present moment awareness with eyes open in walking awake dream state. And you're aware of self. You're aware of the interconnectedness between you and all living beings throughout the entire universe. You realize all of it's you. You're both the dreamer and the character. You're this character and that which dreams the entire thing up. And yet neither of those are really true. The witness is only the witness while you dream. And once the dream is over, you are that which is eternally awake. The Atman's essential nature, the Christ's essential nature, is the same as Brahman, God. Same indivisible self. No, God's not dreaming, but an aspect of God, an extension of God, fell asleep, dreamt up this biblical disaster. So awakening to self doesn't end the suffering. The war's still going on in the north or the south, and the Yankees are still voting north and south or whatever the fuck they're voting there, making a big hoo-ha over who's right and who's wrong, and whether it's what's his name, the one with the bad hairdo or the one with the nasty giggle. They make themselves, they take it very seriously there in America. And you think American politics is a joke? Come to Africa. It's a fucking circus. But it's not my circus, and it's not allowed to say it. Don't say it. Not my, those little creatures, furry, and they look like humans and hang off trees. Can't say it out loud. Going to be nailed for racism. Yeah, it's a circus. There, it's TV, soap TV. It's fantastic. You should enjoy American politics. Canadian stuff is ridiculous, funny, preposterous. European politics. The whole thing. It's one huge disaster. And 3,000 years from now, it'll be part of their future Bible. So don't take it too seriously. Just as you awaken yourself, you start to recognize the difference between absolute reality subjective, objectified reality. And you start to realize that that thing which you couldn't touch on, you couldn't understand it. Wow, great spirit, energy, chi, that gentle flow, that what was an empty void inside is devoid of nothing, full of all of it, full, the fullness of being. And you realize it's just it's just energy. And you realize, like the lava lamp, you don't die and now you're woke to self, so you don't have to incarnate. And now where do you go? You're a thought in the dreaming mind. You don't leave the dream. You become a lit thought. You were once a dark thought. You're now a lit thought. And so you light up the dreaming mind a little bit more. You now start to become part of what's called the office of the Christ in the dreaming mind. So it's the part of the wrong mind that is lighting up. And that's it, just like a lava lamp. So will you incarnate again? Perhaps you may think, okay, it's no point in me just being a light. Let me pour this light and I project back into form. Will it be you? No, you'll take aspects of all your fractured selves into a condensed thought form stream and you'll project it. And there you are, a new you. No memory of ever having existed before. Well, awaken self is really just, it's like, I don't know. I've always said I'd rather get married than watch a horror movie. And you know how I feel about marriage. But it's like going to pay money to watch a horror movie and scared the bejesus out of yourself. You're sitting in that cinema, nowhere to go, and a fucking horrific scream, a horror movie going on there. And at one moment, you're shrieking like a little girl, you know. And all of a sudden, you catch yourself. You're like, fuck, it's just a movie. It's just a screen. It's just speakers. This isn't real. There is no monster. And you find yourself laughing at yourself. It's no longer real. It's no longer true. And so you don't really care. You don't really realize, you don't care what the outcome of the movie is. You realize you were trapped in it. You were there. You identified with the character on the screen. And now you realize it's just a movie. You start laughing at it. That's what awakening to self is like. You just laugh at what was once a horror movie. Does it stop the horror movie? No, the script is played. It's going to play to the end. The lights will come on. And you just focus on your popcorn and teasing your girlfriend, giving her a fright. Wow. You know, it's no longer serious. That's it. That's all it is. Awakening to self, it's no longer serious. You don't become a vegan, vegetarian, librarian, walk on water. There's none of that stuff. And you don't give up your day job and now just want to go and run a soup kitchen. If it was in your nature to serve soup, then you would be doing it. If it's in your nature to run a business, you'll be running a business still, but you'll do it from a awake to self state of being. And you realize all your employees are fractured parts of yourself, and you pour yourself lovingly into it. Does that sound too obvious? Well, it is obvious. The last thing God needs is another fucking madman who was a CEO of a company and now has become a reverend. Reverend Lu-ji-poo. Rev. Maybe. No. Talking to myself again. Once you've awoken to self, you realize your truest essential, your highest essential, primordial nature, which is joyous peace. And you realize that that joyous energy, that joyous, peaceful energy, that essence energy is God. Well, first it's yourself, Christ self. And as your Christ self is an extension, it's God. So peaceful, joyous presence awareness is the essence of God flowing through you. And we actually contained in all of it. It's your innermost accurate description of self. You identify with it. And identify, I'm very careful with identifying, because nowadays everybody's woke and they're identifying with anything or something. I identify, I've got no kids, but I identify as a parent. So I consider myself transparent. So there you go. That's my identity. Make fun of it if you like, or identify as a parent. You have to insist on I am a parent. So what happens is, listen, I never gave a rat's ass about people. I really, in actual fact, didn't like people, and I really wanted to. I aspired to become a serial killer. As a young man, I wanted to become a serial killer. That might not be completely true. You make up your own mind. But what's happened is, and I can only speak for self, is the caring of the well-being both physical, mental, and psychological, of your siblings is of your highest concern. Not at the expense of yourself, not that you become a doormat and sell everything and give it to the poor. You need to sustain yourself in order to help others, and you're aware of it. You really care for their well-being, for their state of mind, but you do not listen to their little ego judgments. And of course, if anybody tells you you can stop judging, you'll immediately stop judging when you awaken to self. Hell no. There's discernment happening, and discernment's required in a dualistic space so that you can recognize the good from the bad. Chapter 2, the last judgment. It's the discernment, right, wrong, what's worth hanging on to, and what do I let go as dream illusion. I personally absolutely love pulling the piss out of bliss bunnies, especially those fucking crystal hugging, angel worshipping beads and yogas and blah, blah, blah. I love pulling the piss out of them. I just absolutely like, especially when they cry, because then we chop down more forests. And especially the ones that take spirituality very seriously and try to shoehorn Christianity into, oh, I'm going to love pulling the piss out of it. Jesus said. Okay. Realize this idea that the path of self-mastery is a lonely one, and bullshit. The path of self-mastery is the only one. And it's the only one for you. It's your way. You won't detach from the world. Be careful. You know, mistranslations. The Buddha said, detach. All life is suffering. Detach. Shut the fuck up. Detach from nothing. How can you detach from yourself? Can you detach your finger sword? You detach it from your body and then stick it somewhere where it heals. You don't detach. You're not attached. You're not attached to the outcome. If you smack your hand, you smashed it under or whatever, you know, you go to the hospital and it's going to be sore and they're going to do reconstructive surgery. It's easy. You can just detach it. No more pain. Heals very quickly. Just chop it off at the ear if you want to, you know. Or you can go through the surgery and let the hand heal. And I promise you, a year later, when you're holding your next cold beer in your hands or glass of wine, because it's more spiritual than beer, or hey, whiskey, because that's a spirit, while you're holding your whiskey spirit in your hands, you're going to be very grateful you didn't detach. You don't detach. You're non-attached to outcomes. No more expectations. No more expectations. Why? The script is written. And so you're now going with the flow. And just like a little boat in a river, you're just going with the flow. And oh, look, there's a boulder. Smack. And okay. You're going to just keep following. You're not going to resist. You're not going to fight it. You're not going to expect it. You're not going to see a psychic in the hope that around the next corner is the perfect woman of your dreams in the red dress. And she owns a whole Ferrari company. She's just going to give it to you for free. You're just going to go with the flow. And you're going to be from a state of awakened to conscious state. You recognize the interconnectedness. You pour yourself in. You want to serve. Look at any great teacher. They're in a place of service. They're always serving in their own individual way. Whether it be teaching, I hate that word, or running their little ashram or cat sanctuary or whatever they're doing, they're serving in the most natural way they know how. I think that in 100 years, the era of the guru is gone. AI would have taken it over, but interconnectedness between each other, we become each other's greatest teachers. So let's go back. Let me take a step back to the moment when the shit hit the proverbial proverbs of fans, the proverbs of fans, the proverbial. The minute we fell asleep, we were immediately out of awareness. But awareness energy is awareness. So it can't remain out of awareness if its very core essence is awareness. So the rest of the energy field, God, called that little thing that's now vibrating in a opposite frequency to what is all encompassing, immediately called it back. And so we now tell a story of that calling back to returning to the alignment of the energy light ever extending here now, forever. And we call that the voice for God, the memory for God. It's calling us back to awaken to self. So where is that voice? We're in it. Where's the voice? It's pure energy. We're in it. Where's the Holy Spirit? We are in it. We are it. We're the very essence of spirit holy God energy, but unaware that we are. Why? Because we bought into ideas of our dreaming mind, and those ideas have become filters, collective filters. Collective filters become beliefs and norms and values and systems. That's it. And so the mind fell asleep and started imagining what it could be, and every thought it had became a thought form, spirit. It is spirit. It's imagining, and every thought it has about what it could be takes form, spirit, uh, ethereal form, energy. And eventually, not recognizing, as it kept splitting itself up, it still couldn't figure out what it is because there's not enough duality in La La Land. And so it needed to lower its vibration and then start to create physical forms or the appearance thereof, the beginning of the universe. It's first spirit world, then the universe. And then spirit projected into the universe, sentient being. That's it. And now we're deep in the proverbial poo, deep trapped into the duality of our own making, yet it's part of the plan. The minute it fell asleep, the creation of the universe and the awakening sequence through the millennia, is there such a thing? Millennia, gazillenia, is now awakening to self. That's it. Not, oh, there's a rapture coming, and can you feel the vibrational shifts? And Uranus is lined up with Mars, and pretty soon Jupiter, and then we're all awakening. Shut the fuck up. The universe is still expanding, which means the dreaming mind is still expanding, which means the dream is still extending. We haven't even reached tipping point yet. It's going to go for a couple of billion more years. So don't be in a hurry to awaken to self. It's happening. It's already happening. You already have. You're already aware that this is not you. You're not a body. You're free. You're still energy as God created you. That's enough. Next incarnation, you're not going to make stupid decisions. You're not going to project yourself as an idiot, especially not spiritual idiot. You're just going to come and enjoy your life and pour yourself lovingly without having to speak spiritual to me. The purpose of the voice, the purpose of the memory, well, there's no purpose. You are it. But since you've now chosen to awaken yourself, it now has a purpose for you. And that is to remind yourself of yourself through yourself as you share of yourself. Sharing is the key word, as you share of yourself. And so the minute we fell asleep, immediately as we fell asleep and compressed into darkness, bang, the explosion. And we went into different paths, spokes on a bicycle wheel. And we're returning in those same directions, back to the hub, back to the core, back to the Christ self we are. So fell asleep, went in a direction. That one wanted to become musical. That one wanted to become scientific. That one wanted to become Batman. And it's now going to go back that route. And so the predetermined route is written. The script is written. Don't try and change it. Observe it. So why did it fracture? Well, as a little kid, you want to know what you look like. So you're looking for a mirror. There, that's what I look like. Oh, so that's what I look like. And then you meet others. Do I look like you? And then you stand next to your friend in the mirror, and then you realize, oh, so you look like that one, and I look like this one, and you start to recognize the differences, and you start to realize what you are through the experience of what you're not, the neti. And so we need mirrors. And so we send that one off in that direction. Those hundreds go in that direction. They come back and they share their story. Okay, so this is what you experience, and that's what you experience. And they on their own don't figure it out, and they on their own don't figure it out, and they on their own don't figure it out. But when you start putting the collective stories together, you start to get a big holistic picture as to what we're not. And as we realize what we're not, we realize then by deductive reasoning, evidence, quantum gives you a little bit of it, you start to realize what you are. And with enough testimonies of those that came before us, and you see those that lived, especially those that are living around us in a peaceful, joyous state, you start to realize, oh, okay, they're living in a peaceful, joyous state. How do they get it? Hey, Lou, how can you be running a business? Someone said to me the other day, how can you be a CEO of a company and be teaching non-duality? How can I not? How can you be an absolute idiot, okay, and be teaching non-duality? It's the same thing. So an idiot can teach non-duality. You have never had a day job in your life, but you're teaching non-duality. But I, as a CEO of a multinational company, I shouldn't. But how can you be spiritual and be a CEO? How can you be an idiot and be a spiritual person? Same thing. You get it? There's no such fucking thing as spiritual. It's all spirit playing out, light dancing in the dark. Okay. Yeah. And this gun's for hire. So it's just interaction. It's just the play of light. It's just interconnectedness. But at some stage, we lose it. Failed special love relationships, failed dreams, failed. We wanted to pour ourselves and build this, create that, travel here, see that, enjoy this, go into nature, and things start to fail. Things start to break apart. Our love falls apart. We get hurt over and over again. We keep attracting the same characters. Why? Because of our habitual patterns and latent tendencies, our formative years, and the repeat. We keep dating. Men keep dating their mothers, and girls keep dating their fathers, and it's the same repeat pattern. And then there's a lot of psychology around it. How to heal that? Remember, Course in Miracles is not psychology. It's 10th step ladder stuff, taking you to the recognizing of our essential nature. Not trying to deal with special love relationships and what's the tricks we should play. It's all about acts of love or acts of kindness or quality time or gift giving or physical touch. That's for the psychology of ego. This is about recognizing self. So at some stage we stop giving up, we give up on our dreams. But if you look back on that properly, choose again, Holy Son, and realize you chased your dreams in order to acquire something to fill the empty void. Now that you recognize the void is not empty, you pour from that void, which is devoid of nothing, full of self, full of the love of God, and you pour it lovingly through what you once pursued, you now keep doing, but from a place of love and sharing, not from a place of needing to gain. So don't become disillusioned with it failed. So all men are arseholes and all jobs are shit and corporate life is terrible and corporates is terrible. I don't want to work in corporate again. Corporate and small company, industrial company, it's all exactly the same shit. In corporate, they wear shoes. In a little travel company, they wear fucking sandals and their grandmother's curtains. It's the same dynamics. It seems to have different power plays. It's still humans involved. There's still toilet paper and someone's still picking their nose and doing absolutely fuck all. And there's someone out there busting their ass in the offices down below where no one notices them. The support teams are busting their asses. The big bosses are sitting there reaping the rewards. Why? Because the big bosses once bust their asses and now they want to. They feel entitled. It's the same everywhere. Don't judge it. It's not toxic there and less toxic here and more spiritual here. If it's toxic there for you, it's because your brain is toxic. Your awareness is toxic. You're only going to see what you are. I don't think you're spiritual. Oh, look at my spiritual bliss bunny unicorn pony, and everything else is fucking toxic. If everything else is toxic, it's you. Awakening to self is really the realizing how we experience relationships. So think of relationship, one sun fractured on one ship heading nowhere. And now he's turned the ship around and he's heading home, homeward bound. So it relates, how do I relate to you on a homeward bound ship? One relationship, one Holy Son, one ship. Remember, if I want things to go my way, and I'm magic, it means that the rest of you have to compromise so that things can go my way. And that's why you have to eventually get to a point where you realize, I don't know shit. I don't know what's good for me. I certainly don't know what's good for you. Let me not be giving advice. Enough vices in the world. Don't advise, don't take vice, no advice. I don't know what's good for me. Show me. And I can share of myself, but trust me on this one. What I understand is what I understand and doesn't make it right or true, except for me, for this fractured part. And perhaps I can be a road sign for you that will show you a possible way that you could go, but never take my word for it. Put it to practice, doesn't work, throw the fucking idea away. Find your own. But stop listening to teachers. At some stage, just go be still. In other words, shut the fuck up. Be still. Shut the fuck up, because be still is not enough for you. Else you wouldn't be here. If you be still and know I am God worked first time around, you wouldn't be here. So perhaps shut the fuck up. Give gratitude. For what? For whatever. For everything. For being aware of being aware. For becoming aware of becoming aware. For the fact that you are breathing. And just give gratitude and abide and ask to be shown. How long is it going to take? I have no fucking idea how demented you are. I don't know how long it's going to take. Me, it took 16 billion years. For you, it might take a little less. Not. Just remember this. It's the failed expectations. It's the expectations is the mother of all. That's what it is. And so you've now bought into an idea of what it should be. The first false expectation, always remember, the first false expectation is that the awakening to self, and now it's bliss. Bullshit. You're awake, you realize what's true, it's not true. And gradually, yes, the Ramana got it instantly, maybe, so the books say. Maybe Jesus figured it out at 13, so the books say. You don't know. In my experience, it's been a gradual approach. I'm now 56 years old, and I'm finding my happy place. I'm more there than I was. 56 years. That's why I look grumpy, because I've been grumpy most of my life. So it's taken a while. The second false expectation is that the path of awakening to self can be done alone. And especially now that women are now free and they get the vote, and they have a say, and they're equal to men in every other respect other than physiologically. And now we want to become independent women. The lone wolf man. Independence is a sure way to fail, as much as is codependency. The codependency, victimhood type thing, dependent on someone else to provide and look after them. But that's what spiritual people do. They're codependent on their special love relationship with their deity. And I'm not talking the Lord God of our being. I'm talking about the special Jesus, the Ramana, the Krishna, the Zork from Zook, the Archangel Michael and Gabriel. And Michael's overworked. Give Gabriel a bit of work. That's it. That's codependency. And so either you're thinking it's all going to be bliss, this bullshit idea of the future, or it's the codependency, or it's the dependent, completely independent. The only way is interconnectedness. And another word for interconnectedness is interdependency. We're interdependent. Every single fracture of ourselves puts together a picture of the greater whole. Let me give you an example. So look at sort of codependency. What does a codependent person look like? They're a follower. They very seldom take initiative. If they did once lead, they now follow because of all the past failures, and they're hurt. They don't want to do it again. They're constantly apologizing for themselves and what they've said and what they do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They even apologize for something they didn't do just to make someone else feel good. And they do that in relationships all the time. They always use that passive aggressive. They speak nice, and they love spiritual soft tones and shit. They do things to appease others. They act in a way that they think will give them validation. Their self-worth is so low, they need recognition in order to raise their self-worth. If external recognition and validation makes you feel self-worth, then the same external validation and criticism can lower it. Don't let anyone tell you what your worth is. In the eyes of God, you're worth exactly the same as Jesus and every other being that's ever lived. Identical, because there's only one son. The codependent is always over empathetic. They feel everything, hence they burst into tears all the time. Imagine you burst into flames instead of tears. That would be better. Maybe not if you lived in a forest. Over empathetic. They love to adapt to everybody's attitudes. They always seem like a team player. I want to accommodate everybody at their own expense. So they never actually take responsibility. And they don't want to take responsibility because I'm a follower, so I'll give it to you. But man, they burn on you very, very quickly if your process didn't work, because they take no accountability for it. They speak very softly. Codependent people speak very softly, nice, gentle tones, and they may sound very intellectual, but they only ask questions to make you doubt yourself, and because they doubt themselves. And they never ask them to do something. Tell them what to do. They don't want to be asked. They want to be told. You often see when they post relationship advice, it's I must never ask you to love me. If I have to ask you to love me, then you don't love me. Bullshit. If you haven't understood the male-female dynamic, if you don't teach men how to give you an orgasm, sweetheart, you'll never fucking have one. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So sometimes you have to ask. We talk about the independence. Now we're talking about orgasms. They take the risks. They've seen the leaders. They say independent. They can fucking change the car tire. They can do it all on their own. They don't need men. Now, it's okay. Men have been independent for very long. Well, so you think they were. They haven't been. They refuse to be defined. They refuse to be contained. And unless you're contained in a loving relationship, both of you contained by one another, you're fucked. You're finished. You're going to be independent and lonely. But unless you find a beta to suck up to you, in which case then you're going to constantly complain because they're a beta and you're the alpha. They only play if they're in charge. They'll listen to everybody only because the self-help book said so, but they don't really give a shit what anyone says. They're going to do it their own way anyway. Careful. I'm not that. They always believe alone is better than team because there's no I in team. You've heard that, eh? Except if you look carefully in between the A. The I is in the A. There's always an I in the team. They accept others. They listen to others. They give people the opportunity to listen, to speak. But they've already made up their minds, and you can see it. They, especially when the juniors speak, they've already made up their minds. They're not going to listen. And they've now bought that book, they bought that curriculum, and they're going to believe that Zork and Zook were talking to you, and you were special, and you knew Jesus 2,000 years ago, and now you're the ascended one, and you're going to fucking wake up. They're going to believe it. They'll sell millions of books, and the more books they sell, the more important they think they are. If you look closely, you're fucking cooked. Complete cowards, but they want to act as in control, independent. I need no one. And then complain because it's lonely and no one understands them. It's their way or not at all. And so the pendulum is now swung, especially in the feminine, because at one stage they were forced into codependency. The world was cruel to women 50, 60, 100 years and longer. They've gone from codependence to independence. And men, what have men done? They don't know where to play anymore. They let go of their independence and they become codependent. They don't know which way to turn. When that pendulum swings in the very center of codependence and independence, in the center line, which is the ascension line, direct line, the direct crucible, is interdependence, interconnectedness. It's the only way. And if you can follow your life by being independent, which means at some stage it's okay to say, I need help. I need guidance. I need support. I need to be contained by you. I need your attention. I need you to tell me you love me. I need you to show me you do. I need you to now stop working for a while and be present with me. I understand your business is under duress, but right now, I've given you the last X amount of times, but I want to spend time with you. Well, I haven't seen you. I understand you travel. I understand you're busy. I understand you're a CEO, or I understand you're a ship captain, and this is your job. You travel off to far destinations, but you're home now. You've harbored the ship. Spend time with me. Well, I need quality time. I want to be with you. I want you to be with me. Be present here now. Put your phone away. You ask and you set the rules. You don't become fucking passive aggressive and then get angry and moody and he doesn't understand what you're thinking. Of course, we have no fucking idea what women are thinking. And trust me, you think you know what we're thinking? We don't know what we're thinking. So don't even go there. Interdependency means you deal with it directly. You tackle it here on and you look for evidence. Well, Jesus said, no, sorry, Jesus didn't say anything. Show me. Show me how that he said it to you. You go all these channelers. I'll talk about the channelers one day. I'll do a talk specifically on the 5 main types of channelers, and 3 of them are complete bullshitters. And there's so much of it that's now growing because it's trendy, it's spiritual, it's special. Look at me, hero of the dream shit. But next time a channeler gives you a special message, ask them to give me evidence of something that happened that only I know about. And you'll see they fake out like that. It's all bullshit. And stop looking for if you are still interested in the future, you deserve to get punished by your own disillusionment. Interdependence doesn't excuse mistakes. It rectifies it. It understands it. Everything's forgiven. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to make sure it doesn't happen again? Okay. They're a team player. They're willing to contribute. They're willing to take responsibility that I fell asleep. I am the dreamer. And I'm this body, mind character. And as I've awoken to self, my process, yes, once I had crystal fairies and unicorns and incense and I did yoga. Now I realize, yeah, it was a nice practice, but the direct path, awakened awareness. Chop water, fetch fish, feed the kittens. It was exactly like that before. Now I'm just aware of it. It's the realization, awakening to self is really interdependence. Aware of the interconnectedness of one indivisible self, fractured as billions of beings throughout the universe, all returning to the one indivisible Christ self, extension of God we are. Realize this, and this is happening to all of us. We think the older we get, the easier it's going to get. No, it's not. So you now have bought the house and the cars and the car and put away money in pension. Great, if you're lucky to have done that. Good for you. You think your body's going to let up. You think you're going to have problems just because now the house is paid for, the money, you got the cars, and you got the happy wife, and the kids have gone off, and they've all, of course, become doctors and surgeons, and they've all found perfect wives, and they have perfect grandchildren. It's all perfect. Yeah, yeah. And then your spleen packs up, and then your knee gives in, and then your Uranus lights up, and your Kundalini sparks up, and then you need medicine. Ego's not going to let you go gently into the light and awaken to self. I mean, it had to crucify Jesus. What do you think it's going to do to you? Life gets more complicated. Now you're aware of it because you expected it to be lighter as you got older. You start losing your passion for everything. It no longer is fun. It hurts everywhere, places you didn't even know you had places. Don't expect life to become an effortless breeze as you're awakening to self. As you're getting older, it becomes, as a child, you were happy with your tricycle and an ice cream. Now you want to own the fucking ice cream factory and 3 cars. And you're wondering whether you should be diesel, petrol, or electric. God forbid. Don't expect it to. Just let go of expectations. Heaven's not in the future. Enlightenment, some state of being. It's right here, right now. Say to yourself, I am. God is. That's it. It's the awareness of being. Heaven is not a place. It's not a space. It's here now. You dreamt this up. You decided to leave silent stillness and awareness in pursuit of happiness. And happiness got you 11 minutes and 30 years of hell. That's it. That's what it got you, pregnant. The little rugrats that now screamed for 9 months and another 2, and then toothache, and then schools, and then, hey, you wanted happiness. You got it. You need to attend, be vigilant, attend to your state of mind, attend to your awareness. Pour yourself fully into your dream. Don't detach. Share yourself. Pitch up. Be present. Love all of it. One of the greatest false expectations that non-dual teachings, the Course in Miracles, do is that life in this illusion, hell, can be perfectly bliss. It's not going to change until all of it awakens. So what can you expect? You can expect, as you awaken yourself, to not take it seriously. Once upon a time, I'd jump off my motorcycle and bash you through a windscreen if you pissed me off. Now, I shake your hand and tell you to be careful. Be gentle. It might sound impossible if you knew me 20 years ago. It happened yesterday. It no longer, the rage dies instantly. You catch it, and it just, because you realize it's not true. It's just wanting to engage me. Remember that if you're doing Course in Miracles or any other spiritual practice, or because you're looking for the blissful state in the future, you're missing the present moment awareness. Do it because you'd love it. Go because you want to sing in a choir and sing Kumbaya and see your friends in Ibiza you haven't seen for a while, and you're going to go to Carolyn's Ibiza retreat and you're going to sing and eat food together and sing and dance. Great. If you're going because you're going into, forget it. You realize script's written. You're going to wake when you're going to wake. If you're going to go, you're going to go. Remember, you've never had a single thought. You think you're planning, you think you're strategizing. You're not. The idea of strategizing comes up. Oh, where did it come from? You have no idea. You're simply a radio playing out the messages of the dreaming ego mind or the right-minded station of the broadcasting, silent stillness, return to me, be aware, be self-knowingly. Life is about accepting the ebbs and the tides, the dark, the light, the moon rising, the sun shines, warm, cold, winter. It's winter again. Can you believe it? South Africa, it's summer again. Just 2 days ago, I heard South Africa's going, damn it, it's so damn hot. I wish winter was back. I bet you the Brits are saying, fuck, just summer's gone. It's winter's coming. We're never happy and we're surprised every year. It's winter once a fucking year. Can you believe it? Once a year, it's winter. And it's too cold and it's too hot and it's too something. It's always too something. Realize that you've journeyed away from God. Spiritual awakening, becoming spiritual, whether it be crystals or non-dual, is your journey back to God. And at some stage, you're going to become the recluse. You're going to hide away. You're going to spend time on your own. You're going to detach. But you can't detach. You can't sustain. You know, we complain. We're water droplets and we're on top of the ocean like waves and we're smashing and it's exciting. And the surfers are riding us and it's fantastic. We're the waves and we're making bubbles. And then after a while, fuck, this is annoying. And then you recede back and you're on the surface of the ocean and you're still a wave. And you go, no, I'll tell you what, let me just sink down to the depths. Ooh, this is amazing down here. It's so cool, calm, and collected at the bottom of the ocean. Except you can't talk to fish. And you can't fucking breathe underwater. See, the realm of underneath is the realm of spirit, right-mindedness. You can't be underwater for too long. You can't breathe because you came as the ocean. You came as the waves. You're all of it, except all of it. And there will be a time when it will go still and know I am. The whole thing. It's not I, be still and know I am. It's be still and know I am is the collection. It's talking to the mind that dreamt, that dreams, and projects us as characters. It's a joyous return. It has to be. What does a happy dream mean? Not now you wake yourself and the whole dream becomes like the horror movie just all of a sudden changed to a comedy show. No. You laugh at yourself for taking it seriously. That's the true joyous lightness of being. Happiness becomes joyous lightness of being. It's here now. It's present moment awareness. Be wary to be that despondent, old, brittle, rigid, fucked up old person. Fucked up. Just sorrow and just one chromosome short being a witch. And then, or sorcerer, miserable git. Boil in trouble, eye of newt and wing of bat. Don't be that miserable git. And be sorrowful. And focus on all women are bitches and all men are assholes. The world's just fucking miserable. Everybody's a sinner and everything's toxic. Be the light. Be the light in your own unique way. Realize that you once chased dreams to acquire. Now pursue your passion. Share it as an expression of the infinite lightness of being. Drop the guilt. So you fell asleep. You thought you sinned. You fucked up. You dreamt up a biblical disaster, a nightmare that has seemed to last 16 billion years. It's not true. Forgive yourself. Give your fractured dream characters. Be still. Focus on I am. Focus on God. What does it mean to focus on God? Not an object. Focus all your attention on God means be still. I am. God is. Focus on God. Center. Silence. Stay present. The thoughts come. No, thank you. You've already investigated. You know they have no origin. You know who they're talking to is the illusionary you. You've already done the direct path. You only need to do it once. You don't have to do it over and over again. Just once. You know, no, it's not true. No, thanks. Abide, gratitude, abide, gratitude. Holy Spirit, show me. Memory of God within me. Present moment awareness of the Lord God on my being. Show me another way to see this. I am, God is. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed.